Welcome to Talk Across America. I'm Doug Miles, and we're here in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. "30 years as announcer and right-hand man of the undisputed king of late-night television, Johnny Carson has made Ed McMahon a household word. He's one of the most recognizable faces and voices in broadcasting. His radio show, Ed McMahon's Lifestyles, airs coast to coast and around the world on Armed Forces Radio and right here on 1220 WIBQ, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. right after the Big Band Files show. It is a great pleasure to welcome Ed McMahon to the Suncoast Magazine today. How are you, Ed?
I am great. It's good to talk with you, and I enjoy it. I was listening in on eavesdropping on your interview, and it was very interesting to learn, the various things that go on in the different minds of men and women. So
yeah, that was
quite
fun.
an interview. A very good job.
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. We get a lot of books like that. I know you do a lot of those on your show, Ed.
Yeah.
Books like that.
It's interesting, the whole idea that, that there is this difference that makes us each attracted to each other.
Oh,
that's
really?
what we're attracted is that difference, and it's interesting that there are a lot of books about it, and we're learning more. It's so funny. There was a line from Paul Reiser when he had Mad About You. Do you remember that television show?
Sure.
And at one point she said, "We have to talk," and he looked at the camera, kind of, like musing, and he said, "Nothing good ever followed those words." We have to talk.
I know. Even in the business world, when the boss says, "Let's talk for a minute," it's never good, right?
Nothing good ever follows. We have to talk.
Well, congratulations on that radio show, Ed.
Thank you. I love it. I was already on the air this morning doing something, and I love it. What happened was I had to rebuild my house. I had a kind of a calamity here with some things. Can't talk about it, but because of a situation, I had to totally gut my house and rebuild it. Now, the good thing of all of that is that it is rebuilt, and I'm back in it and very happy. But I took a closet. While I was doing that, I took a closet off my office, and I work in my home. I work out of my office, and I just took this closet and made a little radio booth.
Oh,
so I'm in there, and we were hoping this morning to be broadcasting with you from there, and we didn't have it quite hooked up properly, but that's the whole place where I do my show. I tape it from in there. My partner is down in Universal Studios. He's got all the bells and whistles. I just have a microphone, and for your audience, it's a line. It's called the ISDN line, but it's just a line that gets me connected to him, and then we get Paul Lazan on another phone line, and I interview Paul Lazan, and I love my little radio booth. In fact, I like it so much, sometimes on Saturday morning, I just go in there and read the paper in there.
Yeah.
I'm so comfortable in there.
We're going to actually have Ron Seggi on, Ed, I believe next week or 2 weeks from now.
Oh, are you? Great. Well, that's my partner that I mentioned.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him as well.
He's on the other coast at Universal.
That's right. Actually, we got your this week's show today, Ed. I just was putting it together in the other room and to be broadcast this Sunday. So it's a lot of fun. Just for the folks that may not be familiar, you interview not only celebrities, your friends in show business, but a lot of book authors and people, maybe diet help. It's a lifestyle show, right?
Yeah, it's all of it. It's called Lifestyles Live, and the whole idea is that it just encourages people. I mentioned Paul Lazan, and to give you an idea how this can help someone, Paul Lazan, first of all, beautiful, wonderful broadcasting lady in our business, but also Paul Lazan is a mother and a wife. She's got to be the soccer mom. She's got to be ready to go to the black tie affair that her husband's business is having. Whatever it is, she has to be a wife and a mother. In addition to that, somehow she has to do a daily live radio or television show, or both, but she gets the job done. So we talk about that. We also talk about her career, everything else that's going on in the world. But the fact that here is somebody getting it all done is a great inspiration to a listener who's a little overwhelmed or a little put down with everything they have to get done this Friday or whatever. And you hear somebody in our business doing the job and still getting everything done. It's inspirational. But then we talk with exercise people. We talk with diet people. I've had the Hellers on. I'm sure you know them, the doctors that wrote the book about, they started this whole carbohydrate craze situation,
right.
And they have about 10 books out, and they've got a new thing out it's about cravings, the cravings that we have to deal with, we have to, somebody made here at the house the other day, they made a chocolate pie. Now, I would normally not think of having a chocolate cake, yes, but not a chocolate pie. So I had one bite. I'm madly in love with chocolate pie. So we talk about that, the pitfalls that you can fall into. You've tried something like a chocolate pie, and it's very tasty, but it may not be the best thing for your waistline.
No, not at all. I know you always say hello to your Marine buddies because you're actually aired on Armed Forces Radio too, aren't you, Ed?
Yeah, I am. We go around the world on Armed Forces Radio, and I worked when I was in Korea after the war ended. I was a pilot, and I flew 85 missions. But when the war ended, there I was sitting with nothing to do, so I volunteered to run a radio station. And I became the night man on this radio station, just so I could broadcast. So now I'm on Armed Forces Radio again, which is wonderful. But I always want to, salute all the guys and gals. But I always have to have a special Semper Fi in my heart for all the Marines.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's of course.
They're doing such a great job. I'll tell you, that's not the easiest thing they're in. Boy, it's tough.
Now, we just actually, first guest today, Ed, we had Rich Little on. He just came back from a USO tour over there.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's great. Yeah.
He was mentioning the guys and women over there. So, yeah, it's very important for morale, just not only live performance, but your radio shows as well.
Yeah.
The MDA telethon, unfortunately, down in Florida this past year, a lot of it got preempted because of our hurricanes.
We were down for the first time ever.
Yeah.
We didn't exceed the year before, which was always Jerry Lewis's goal, and we attribute it totally to Florida because we were only on one station in Florida rather than the whole network of Florida. And I think they're going to do something to kind of make it up. I don't know what that exactly is because I couldn't go to the board meeting. I'm on the board, and I was on the phone from wherever I was. I don't know where I was, but the board meeting was in New York, and I was on the phone someplace. I couldn't be there. I forget where I was. But anyway, I travel a lot, so I don't know where I was. But I was on the phone for the board meeting, and I couldn't stay on the line, and I didn't hear what those plans are. But you'll be hearing about it. I'm sure somebody will be talking about it. And Ron may know when you talk to him. He may know something about it. But the idea was to try to have like a little mini telethon just for the state of Florida.
Oh, great.
To kind of make up for what they lost in the revenue. But we were down over $1 million, and we attributed it totally to the fact that we could not get into Florida. And Ron and I have been commiserating with one another because I sympathize with he went through,
oh, yeah.
The 4 hurricanes that in a row. Well, we've had rain out here. For the first time today, I heard you can get up to my house on the 2 canyon roads. We were isolated up here. I'm up on the top of a hill, and you only can get here by 2 canyon roads, and they both were wiped out. So I just heard this morning, while I was broadcasting, my son came in and gave me like a thumbs up that the roads were open. But so we've been commiserating with one another. But what we're dealing with is compared to the rest of the world is easy.
Oh, yeah. It's been a tough couple of weeks throughout the world. But, I just wanted to mention that to our listeners because our local station here, even though we weren't directly affected in Sarasota, a little bit south of us, of course, Punta Gorda got hit pretty good, and, of course, the coverage for that. But, no, even despite Florida not being on, you guys did great. So it was a good show.
Yeah, we still did quite well. And,
yeah.
We'll go for a smash hit next September.
Just want to touch on a few things, so we have a few minutes left.
Sure.
You're doing a really funny show on TV Land, Alf's Talk Show. I enjoy that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I hope that, we only were isolated with our number of shows. We only had 6 shows. Anymore, they don't give you much of a break, in this business. We don't get that Conan O'Brien notice of 5 years.
Right.
You have a job in 5 years. You get about 4 episodes like Seinfeld was in the originally planned arrangement. You had 4 episodes, and then somebody said, let's keep it on the air. And, they had over a decade of great performances that I still enjoy. But anyway, we had 6 episodes. They're repeating some of the shows now, and we're waiting to hear if they're going to do any more. But I hope we do, because I love Alf's hit talk show.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now, I know, don't give away any of the secrets, but does it take longer than just the half hour to shoot that? Because that's obviously not
Well,
exactly a
it's
live
because
being.
We do it like a talk show. We
Right.
don't do it quite as rigid as we did with Johnny Carson. You know, Johnny was very strict. We went by the second hand, just like you and I do in broadcasting.
Sure.
You know, it's not the minute hand; it's that second hand when that comes up. And we did that every night. The clocks were set for the time the show was actually on the air. All the clocks in the studio, and especially the clock that he looked at. But when I was there, the music started a certain time, and I walked out to do my 5-minute warm-up with the crowd, and then right at start time, we did that show. You know, the band, and here's Johnny, and out he came, and we just adhered to that clock. But with Alf, we don't do that because of getting, different pieces of material we want to do and different other things we do. And, of course, because of the fact that I am dealing with a creature from out of space,
right.
and I have to believe he's totally real, which I do.
Sure.
We have to do it a little differently. But it's the essence of it's the Johnny Carson show without Johnny Carson. Alf is filling in for Johnny Carson.
Right. It's very entertaining. And did you get to talk much to Johnny, Ed, or what can you tell our listeners?
Not too much. You know, he's very, very private. We talk every 3 or 4 months we chat and see what he's doing. But he is totally removed himself from the scene. He gets on his boat, and he's been everywhere on his boat, and he loves that. And I keep running into people, and somebody said, "Well, I saw your boss. I was down in Belize," and I saw Belize. Well, he was at the Dominican Republic, and somebody saw him in the Dominican Republic, but he's been all over. He was, through your area. He went through the Gulf a couple of times, went past Sarasota, down around the Horn of Florida, the Keys, and then up the other side to Fort Lauderdale, then out to the Caribbean, and then he went up the inland waterway. He went up to New England on his boat. So he's been everywhere on that boat.
Yeah, I know he loved his boat and tennis. He was always a big tennis fan, too. But
yeah.
Ed, it's really a treat to talk to you. Obviously a big fan of The Tonight Show and all your work, and I'm glad your show is on our station. Hope we can do it again sometime.
I hope we can. Anytime. I'd love to, Doug. You're a good broadcaster.
Oh, appreciate that.
You know what you're doing. It's good.
Thanks, Ed. We'll talk to you soon.
Nice to talk with you, and have a good time with Ron.
You too. Okay, I will. Bye now.
Right, bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Talk Across America. Please visit our website at dougmilesmedia.com for more great interviews and content. And if you're interested in any of the books we talk about on the program, please click the Amazon link on our website. It helps support the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again real soon here from beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.